Are you a movie buff? Do you love dissecting and analyzing your favorite films? Look no further than the Projection Booth podcast. Join host Mike White and a bevy of guest experts as they explore the history, themes, and legacy of cult classics, obscure gems, and mainstream hits. Join us every week for a unique and engaging look at your favorite movies. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and tune in to the Projection Booth podcast, available on all major podcast platforms.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bollywood Cinema Club, a show where we take a look at Indian cinema every other week. I am your host, Chris Stachiw, the host of the Culture Cast, where this show spun off from. So this is kind of like a All in the Family type thing. This is a spin-off. It's like The Maid. We're like the maid from All in the Family, spinning off into their own show. I am joined by my good friend. You have heard him here before. We talked about Mil Gaya, and now we're talking about Krrish, your friend and mine, DC Titans executive producer and man about town, Richard Hatem.
Just imagine.
Good. And on this episode of the Bollywood Cinema Club, we're taking a look at 2006's sequel to Mil Gaya, aptly titled Krrish. So the film is directed once again by Rakesh Roshan. It is based on a story by Rakesh Roshan, and it stars once again Hrithik Roshan as Krishna, the son of Rohit Mehra, who is, well, he's taken out into the wilderness by his grandma, once again played by Rekha, and they hide in the wild because Rohit Mehra disappeared in between this movie and the last movie. A whole bunch of really bad stuff happened, actually. It's just a depressing movie in a lot of ways. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but well, his dad disappears, his mom dies, and he goes and lives with his grandmother in the middle of nowhere. And lo and behold, I'll say Nick Jonas's wife, Priyanka Chopra, shows up. And, well, they fall in love, and then he goes on a mission to find out where his father is. There's a lot to unpack here, and boy, if you told me this was the sequel to the movie we just talked about, my brain would just melt out of my head. I mean, the reason we're talking about this is because the two movies are so diametrically opposed in a lot of ways. So, Richard, I'm going to kick it to you first. What did you think of Krrish?
Well, it was kind of like Krrish has three parents. His biological parents and Jadoo.
Never forget Jadoo.
Never forget Jadoo. Never forget.
We see him for 1 second in this movie. You see his little hand, and that's it. I was so disappointed.
Well, but did I miss it? When do you see his hand?
Am I hallucinating? Like, I know I saw it at one point. Like, I think it was like they were trying to
Hrithik Roshan's hand, and that's offensive.
I mean, it could be his hand. Technically, they both have the double thumb. So I remember distinctly at some point it showed the little hand, the blue hand.
That may have been in one of the flashbacks.
I think so.
In the real timeline of this film, I don't it's just at the very end. They walk outside, look up into the night sky. There's a flashing light, and they go, "Thank you, Jadoo." And I'm sort of like, well, what did Jadoo? I mean, I know Jadoo sort of helped by imbuing your dad and then you with superhuman powers. But beyond that, it's not like he showed up. At a certain point, I was hoping he would. I'm like, all we need now is for that little blue bastard to show up and start kicking ass.
I mean, this is a couple years past the last one. I wouldn't have put it past him. He doesn't, unfortunately. A Yoda from Revenge of the Sith style fight scene where it's just a little actor in a suit jumping around, or CGI. Yeah, it could have worked.
Well, I got excited because I was so happy when they brought back Rohit and they showed him in a flashback where he was sort of, classic era Rohit of Mil Gaya, when he was first meeting Dr. Anya and being brought in to develop the computer that can see the future.
Oh my God. I laughed so hard though. Welcome to the future. Yes. Thank you.
And here we have filmed footage. It's hard.
Very well filmed footage with angles and everything.
The future has to know where to put the camera to photograph the events so that you can see them. And then it sort of edits them, cuts away, and then covers people in their own coverage. So the future is not a bad filmmaker.
Welcome to the future. Every time it said it, I just laughed so hard. It's like, okay, movie, we get it.
Yeah. But seeing Hrithik Roshan as Rohit, after it feels like about an hour of seeing him as Krrish, sort of reminded me, oh yeah, that is a distinct character. Like, I don't feel like I'm just seeing him with a shorter haircut. It's like, oh no, I'm watching that character. And then we're coming back to Krishna, who's his own character. Unfortunately, not as interesting a character as Rohit in a story that is not as interesting. Nonetheless, Hrithik Roshan is charming and great looking and does a bunch of stuff and is fun to hang out with for just shy of 3 hours.
Yeah.
And Priyanka, I mean, I'll hang out with her too.
Man, I don't know what it was, but Priyanka Chopra I have not seen her in anything else. And so maybe I don't understand what her acting stylings are, but compared to some of the other leading ladies we've seen, she feels like she falls short.
I would agree.
Right? I don't know if it's chemistry with Hrithik Roshan, but I believe Hrithik Roshan would have chemistry with a watermelon. Like,
right.
I don't know. Like, it was weird because the moment she shows up on screen with him when she's falling out of the sky and he has to save her, it's like, it's almost like immediately apparent they have no chemistry. And I was like, okay, like, maybe we're going to build on this, and this is just the beginning. We have, like you mentioned, almost 3 hours, and it never builds on anything. Like the weakest part of this movie is everything regarding her and her character, like to the point where I didn't even want to bring it up at the beginning, but it was a thing that irked me from the moment she showed up. And I've never seen her in anything else, so maybe this is just the way she does the whole acting.
Is this her first film, or did she have a whole history before this? I didn't dive deep into her.
She had been acting for 4 years up until this point. So she had been in things to the point where she was making cameo appearances in movies.
Okay. I think you're right about their chemistry. And I think you're right about it seeming like Hrithik Roshan would have chemistry with just about anybody. I like her. And I wasn't bored watching her. I enjoyed her scenes with Honey, her friend. I just didn't feel the connection between the two of them as strongly as I wanted to, and listen, it's not like the filmmaking here is restrained. I mean, they did everything to make it appear as if these two people were in love, everything short of animated birds and hearts swirling around their heads. And they're both beautiful. So it's not hard to get there and to sort of go, well, okay, she's nice, he's great. I just hope these two kids end up together. But I felt bigger connections with other people. I would say the last movie, I felt a bigger connection between Priti Zinta, yeah. And,
boy, what a great way to handle her character in this movie, huh? Oh my God. Oh, it's just everything bad that could have happened to Rohit in the in-between. In the last 20 years, he's been held hostage by Naziruddin Shah, who just, is chewing scenery. He's chewing scenery like it's nobody's business. And I love him in everything I've seen him in, but his wife dies the next day, and then he's held in limbo for 20 years. It's like, Jesus Christ. And his son is taken away and hidden in the forest. Like, Rohit, fuck you, apparently. That's the story of this movie. Like, Jesus Christ, hasn't this poor man been through enough? And it doesn't even lead on, like, how long in between the last movie ending and all these things taking place in the past were, because it seems like it was, like, pretty quickly afterwards. Someone was like, hey, Mr. Smart Man, I'm Mr. Rich Guy, and let me take you away and have you do something for me. And then forever, I guess.
Well, it was within a year of, well, it's weird because there was only a few years, but in the fictional world of Mil Gaya and Krrish, 20 years has passed between 2003 and 2006. Okay, got it. That's fine. But because they didn't want anything, all the drama had to be shunted off to characters that we don't see for a little while. Then we just hear about what happened to them to drum up a sense of this sort of big palette tragedy that could then earn us the big finish. So rather than, for instance, no one shows up and kills grandma, Rekha. And nobody shows up and does anything to him. And nobody really shows up and does anything to Priyanka. So there's the first hour of the movie is fairly relaxed. Just here's this guy. He's been raised on his own. We do a funny, a half hour with a camping group, which is fairly entertaining. And that guy who's this is terrible. I should have all these names written down, but I literally just finished watching the movie as we were starting. Who is his friend?
Bahadur.
Bahadur, yeah. Who's great, and all of that's fun, but the stakes don't really enter the story until he falls in love. She leaves. He gets invited to go join her in Singapore, and then grandma's like, "Okay, sit down. I guess I finally have to tell you. Here's what's happened between the last movie and this movie," and it's horrific. I mean, and it's insane. Also, it's like, wait, what? So your dad went away, met up with a genius tech guy. So who is he? Basically India's Elon Musk or something?
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Or like probably Steve Jobs, I would assume at this point, because it's like 2006. So like height of the iPhone and,
right.
And, the black turtleneck polos and stuff. So I equated it to like a Steve Jobs. So yeah, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, a big tech dickhead.
Right. And the actor looks like the Indian Eric Bogosian.
Nazir Shah, man, he's so good. He was in an Amir Khan film, Sarfarosh, where he plays he's like a poet who's also like a terrorist, and you can write those scenes in your head, and the scenes that he does are even 10 times better than that. He is so good, and he's a great villain there, and he's great here. He's so good.
Yeah, no, it's great, and the one. Well, that's not true. I was going to say the one fantasy element is the notion of building a computer that can see the future. But obviously the other fantasy element is Krrish himself, who is imbued with everything and anything Rohit could do and even a little more. It seems like he's really got the Jadoo blood in his veins, right?
Yeah, and again, it's never defined, which is kind of a problem, but also not, because if you don't define it, just do anything, right? I mean, it's like all those people that were getting upset about Star Wars The Last Jedi, where it's like, well, they can't fly through space. Nobody ever said they could do that. It's like, well, nobody ever said they couldn't. So, like, here it's like, well, he can fly, I guess.
Right.
Again, like you said, like, we saw what Jadoo could do in the last movie. So this is like concentrated. He's not flying, but he's not flying. Like
he's flying in the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon way.
That is exactly
you're
what
sort
it
of
is.
Running through the air and jumping again, and then running through the treetops, and like running with your feet hitting branches or horses or
nothing in this movie's case.
Or nothing. Yeah, it's that sort of flying through the air with your arms pinwheeling a little bit and your legs gyrating like you're riding an invisible bicycle. Anyway,
it's kind of dorky, right? It is like, well, but it's like it's evoking something else. It evokes like an older style of superhero movie. It's like Superman.
Well, there was that, I guess, that sort of, aughts, the 2000s, where the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon thing was state of the art, and that's when this movie hit. And then later, like, I don't think you're really seeing a lot of that now in movies. That sort of cable work where someone's just sort of running through the air. Now it's pretty much straight CGI, and people are just flying, or they're not hanging from a wire from a helicopter.
Right. Well, it reminded me a little bit of something like The Matrix, a little bit. I mean, and a little bit of like old style superhero movies. Because again, it was just Clark Kent, Chris Reeves in front of like a green screen doing this. I mean, yeah, that's what it was. Like, and this is in a lot of ways like that. And I don't know, like from like 2001 to like 2008 or 9, there was like that weightlessness about action where you were just kind of like, I don't know.
Right.
And like, and then there
floating.
was, right. And then there was a shift to like grounded and like, oh, it's got to be like bored and serious and gritty. Yeah. And like, you can't do that when it's that. So that kind of went away.
Well,
but
the choreography in this movie was Hong Kong. I mean, it was
right.
He brought in experts, who sort of specialized in that action choreography. And then some, I guess some American special effect and computer effect guys were brought in to help, because from what I read, the idea was that this movie was going to challenge the production level of Hollywood films. So there was a concentrated effort. Let's see if we can make something as good as Hollywood in terms of those sort of top tier action effects. Let's see if we can do it. They did a good job. I mean, it was, it was exhilarating and fun to watch, but it's funny how even that state of the art now feels a bit antiquated 15 years later.
Well, and I will say, like, the special effects in this movie, pretty good. Like,
yeah.
Pretty good. I mean, we talked about Mil Gaya, obviously, and that movie wouldn't say it was effects heavy, but I think like maybe you could make the case like half of it was rather effects heavy. I would say half of this movie is rather effects heavy, maybe a third, but this movie, 3 hours, so a third is an hour. So I think, and I read the same thing, I was thinking, because I wanted to ask you that very question, like 2006, movies like Batman Begins are coming out. Like,
right.
So is this Hollywood level superhero at the time? Does this compete in a substantive way, in your opinion?
I think so. It's still made in a different tradition. I mean, and plus this movie, I would say that the genre of this movie, beyond the effects and everything else, is romantic melodrama.
Right. It's not a superhero movie. It's like, it's really not. I mean, I pitched this to you as a superhero movie, and I think that's the closest analog for part of this movie is a superhero movie, but it is in the same way Mil Gaya is not a sci-fi movie, this isn't a superhero.
Yeah, Mil Gaya is a sentimental fantasy film. This is a romantic melodrama. I mean, the only real drama is the romance. I mean, that's what's at stake for him. And story-wise, in the center of the movie, that's what's at stake for us, is this relationship. And will it survive the lies each of them are telling? His lie is he's hiding his abilities, okay? And trying to keep a promise to his grandmother, and when he goes out into the world, not reveal that he can do all this amazing stuff. Her lie is that she's ambivalent about her feelings for him. She doesn't dislike him, but it's so clear that he is so in love with her. She's not sure. She returns those feelings. Her feelings may not be as strong at the beginning. And so she lies that she is more in love with him than she really is, simply to get him to Singapore so he can be exploited by her and her friend Honey on the TV show they work for, right?
Yeah, which is very low stakes. Like, right? In a lot of ways, I mean, this is, again, a old school superhero trope, but ain't nobody not recognizing you, even with that mask on, Hrithik Roshan.
Well, yeah, I mean, and then it does turn into Batman.
Right,
that's the music. I mean, you can hear the music going da 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 da, and you're like, that's some Batman music,
right?
But okay,
it's a superhero movie in that tradition of a superhero movie, a 70s 80s superhero movie, where it's like you know some of this is close approximation to what they're doing in the comics, but our technology does not enable us to do everything the way we want. So some things are just going to look I mean, again, like, I don't think this movie commits any cardinal CGI sins. This movie looks really good, but some of the kind of trappings of what they're doing like him running through the air, like there's a couple fight scenes that look like they're out of a comic book, they might rub someone the wrong way if they're expecting more contemporary superhero conventions. But I would say, like you've said, it's like Mil Gaya is, like you said, a family movie. This is a romance movie. It just happens to have superhero elements. And really, there's only about like 45 minutes of it. It's not even, I mean, it's a 2.5 hour movie, 2 hours and 45 minutes, and a third of it is superhero. The rest is other romantic musings and musical numbers.
If the Chris Nolan movies were extremely sort of brooding, grounded, cloudy, troubled superhero tropes, this is not. Yes, it's a melodrama, but the energy level and the color and the pace and the emotion is typically pretty upbeat. I wouldn't say there was a ton of great comedy in this one, but I would not call it cloudy. You know what I mean? I mean, Batman, the first Batman movie that Christopher Nolan did, were not ever cut any slack to experience joy. And that's very much been the way of many, many superhero movies. Superman, you know, the Zack Snyder ones, it seems to fall under the category of it's so terrible to be a superhero, which to me defeats the point. You can still make a beautiful movie, but if I walk out feeling like I just saw, and it's so funny because after I saw the Superman movie, it may have been Superman Returns, I was like, you know, great filmmaking, but not for a Superman movie. Go make a World War II movie. And then, of course, he did. And I'm like, that's what this feels like. Like, I shouldn't walk out of a Superman movie and feel like I just saw Saving Private Ryan. I want to feel joy. I want to feel uplifted and exuberant and exhilarated. This, you know, Bollywood films do a better job of that. And even when there's a tragic backstory, it's only used to fuel the eventual delivery of justice.
Seen a lot of those tragic backstories, haven't we, Richard?
Yeah.
Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom 3.
Well, yeah, but those, I mean, those
I know, but
pure candy. I just, you know, I mean, those.
Well, so is this. Don't you think? I mean,
I do. You know, but it has the inevitable comparisons to Mil Gaya, and frankly, the character of Rohit is just so much more compelling, so much more interesting, so much more sympathetic in so many ways. Oh, he is, you know, he's got his deficits, but he's clearly heroic as a human being, and then becomes, after his, you know, sort of indoctrination through Jadoo, he becomes literally heroic. And that's all really fun to see. That movie was firing on all cylinders. This one, and it's strange for me to say this about Indian cinema or a Bollywood film, but it feels almost, it feels a little thematically restrained. It feels like it's only using a few arrows in its quiver in terms of the emotions. The dance sequences were good,
but
you know,
not
the
very
comedy
memorable.
was,
but not very
okay,
memorable.
Not super memorable. Not like when Rohit, you know, was suddenly the best dancer in the place, and it was not only an incredible dance sequence, but the concept was funny.
Remember when him and Preeti Zinta danced in the rain? I do. Yeah. I don't remember any of the musical numbers from this movie. They were fine, but they didn't add anything. I mean, it's not a matter of detracting. I don't look at him as a detractant, but I normally feel like when we're talking musical numbers in Indian cinema, most of the time they add to the overall sense of why the characters are doing what they're doing, or letting the watchers fall in love with the characters on screen. None of that here. And again, no chemistry between Hrithik, Roshan, and Priyanka Chopra, but that's beside the point. It's just, okay, like, fine.
Yeah. And you know, and then the science fiction conceit of the computer that can see the future that kind of dominates the last 25 minutes of the movie is okay, but it's kind of a goofy premise, and it doesn't feel super smart or even that threatening. I don't know.
But I kind of wanted more of that.
We feel like we're concerned about Rohit once we realize he's still alive. That was a good twist, and or a good revelation that oh my gosh, he can still be saved. So that gave the last chunk of the movie some stakes. But yeah, then we're kind of just watching him kick ass, which is great. But I don't know, it sort of wrapped up pretty quick. And then suddenly, can you help me with this? Suddenly she's there to be taken prisoner. And I wasn't clear, was she accompanying him through all of this?
He just brings her in.
I remember seeing her when it turns out the other Krrish, the guy he sort of hands off the mask to, who then unfortunately gets murdered.
Oops.
I remember seeing her there, but then afterwards when he's getting onto the island, for some reason I didn't think she was with him. But then she shows up at the very end as a hostage.
Well, she's got to be, there has to be some stakes. You have to have the female. I didn't understand it either. I mean, I think you're right. The kind of big issue I had with this movie is the stuff that I was really enjoying got pushed to the side for something that I'd already seen in the last movie done better. I think the issue maybe boils down to Preeti Zinta and Hrithik Roshan's chemistry was so good that I kind of wish it had just been Rohit Mehra become the superhero. Like, why go through all this about him being a son? Like, why? Like,
well, was it literally because they couldn't get the actress?
They could have still killed her off, but they still have Hrithik Roshan. Like, my point is, like, they have the same actor playing a different character, but it's still the same actor. Why go through this, like, storytelling convention of, like, well, your wife died, but you had the baby, and so now it's the baby played by the same actor. It feels like a lot of hoops to jump through to just get Hrithik Roshan to play the same character again.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they felt like they'd already sort of done everything they could do with him, and then they did. You know, again, there weren't a lot of arrows not fired in Mil Gaya.
Right. But that was the one arrow they didn't fire was him actually being a superhero.
Well, nobody did a little of that toward the end. He was, at that basketball game. Come on, man. He was flying. He was flying through the air and dunking the ball.
He was flying more through the air than his son does in this movie. Like, it was very strange to me because if you want Hrithik Roshan to play a superhero in your movie and you already have a movie that he was in, why do you have to, like, I don't know. There's this Indian cinema.
Got to play two characters.
I know. I've seen this in Indian cinema a bunch now, and it seems like such a commonly used trope of, like, the actor playing the same character, or like two characters in a movie, or like father and son, or it's done fine because they're so different, but I feel like maybe just have him be the superhero because, like you said, Krrish ends up just being a Rohit stand-in anyways. He's just not as endearing at all. His better hair, but he's not as endearing. Right,
because he's not troubled. I mean, his life is pretty great. He's been growing up, running around.
He has a high IQ from birth. Like,
yeah,
his life is that. You know what? I hate to use this term, but I think it's a fair term to use here. He's kind of a Mary Sue in this movie.
You'll have to tell me what that is.
He's kind of perfect from the get-go, and he doesn't really grow as a character. He's good at everything, and that's kind of the case. Like, what character growth does he exhibit in this movie? Like, he struggles with the fact that he's a superpowered individual, but can't out himself because his grandma told him not to. Like, that's as much as he struggles with. Everything else, he can save everybody and stop everything. And he doesn't even really seem that sad that he accidentally got his friend killed. I mean, I'd be a little sad that I got my friend killed by accident, but...
Oh, yeah. I mean,
maybe
that was pretty bad.
Look at me.
Well, the only time he seems truly hurt and upset is when he overhears Priyanka talking about how she lied to him, and he doesn't stick around long enough to hear the rest of it, where she confesses her true love for him. But that's sort of the only thing. So it's not like he doesn't learn. I'm sure it's very dramatic to learn something about your past and learn about your father, things you never knew, and then realize he's still alive, and you have the opportunity to save him. And that's all fine, but nothing really happens to him to make him feel differently about his abilities. It's not like he learns that he got his abilities from the devil and now he has to question using them or something. I mean, it's just sort of like,
what a great movie that would have been. Well, turns out John Doe is the devil.
Let's get to work on that.
Right. Devil aliens.
But I mean, that is very much, look, I've spent the last 5 years working on Titans. That's everything we do. All we do is people and their ambivalent relationship toward their powers. And what does that mean? And in this movie, he has no ambivalence toward his powers. He knows that he has abilities. He learns that it's because of his dad and Jadoo. I guess his mom had nothing to do with this.
I don't understand. Like, he's a clone of his father. Like, what did Preeti Zinta add to the equation? Like, was this immaculate conception? the womb. That's what it was.
She added long hair and better eyesight.
Hey man, I'll tell you what, when those wind machines blow on him in those scenes, boy, just the perfectly coiffed hair blowing back with that giant black leather jacket that he's wearing.
Well, it was also very anime. There was an anime flavor to this with the blurry backgrounds sort of going by quickly.
I'm glad you noticed
the foreground or slow. It's like Scott Pilgrim, you know?
Right. It's 100% manga. Like I thought the exact same thing. And I would not have had that frame of reference if not for the fact I've spent a lot of this year reading manga. So it was interesting because again, like that's an influence that I haven't seen in these movies yet. That's an influence that's not even like really in American superhero movies. Like,
no, I mean, it
other than Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim. It sneaks in around the 2000s and it's in animated anime that my kids have been watching for the past 15 years. So they're watching, you know, Last Airbender and Black Clover, I think. Other ones, I don't know.
Whatever the fuck.
One Piece. A lot of One Piece in this house. The books are stacked, you know, everywhere. And it's on television all the time. So
1,600 chapters, buddy. You'll live in a house built out of One Piece mangas at some point.
Pretty much. So so there was a little bit of that. I mean, I kind of love the fact that they just grab whatever is happening. And it's like, well, let's put a little of that in. It's not, you know, it gives it some visual flair. And of course, his hair and that coat, you know, a lot of angles. It was, you know, again, it's like nothing wrong with this film where I'm finally getting to the point where it's like, I've seen enough of them to now go, oh, they're not all great. Some of them are just very good.
You have, and that's the thing, like, we haven't watched one yet that's been like, Like Heather and I have seen, like, this is probably the closest we've gotten to like, this is good. But like Heather and I have seen two that were, one is not great to the point where we don't understand why anybody is even interested in watching it anymore with Mahakal. And then Circus, which is on Netflix, is just, it's fine. Like, this is better than just fine, but it's, I don't know, I think maybe also hurts it, the fact that it's a sequel to Koi Mil Gaya, which is a much better movie. I think it's a much more emotionally investable movie. It's easier to get invested in that movie than it is this one. Because again, I think Hrithik Roshan is just turning on something different in that movie that this movie doesn't require at all. I mean, unless when he's playing Dr. Rohit. But other than that, like, this movie doesn't require him to kind of be, it should have required him to be childish, but instead he's just kind of, I don't know, like, he doesn't have, like, Krishna's not much of a character. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. He's not much of a character in a movie where that's the name of the movie.
No, he's a happy, good-looking dude.
Right. Like, that's it. That's about as much as I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Who can do a lot of great stuff and doesn't worry about his skills and doesn't worry about his skills not being equal to the task. He just sort of proceeds. Now, the funny part is there's a part of me now that it's like, well, we probably should watch Krrish 3. And then there's another part where I'm just like, oh, I just want to see Pathan and RRR. And I just want to streak ahead and watch something extremely current because I haven't seen those yet. But rather than do that, or maybe I'll do that too. But here, I do think now, in for a Krrish, in for a Jadoo, we gotta finish this trilogy up.
Which the next movie's title is so hilariously strange because this is Krrish, which is a sequel to Koi Mil Gaya. And that movie's title is Krrish 3.
Krrish 3. It's almost like Koi Mil Gaya, parentheses, Krrish 1.
I guess.
But it couldn't be Krrish 1 because Krrish is Krrish.
Yeah.
There's no two. Krrish is the first time the word Krrish is used, but now we're going to 3. It's weird. It should be Koi Mil Gaya. You know what? I don't know what it
should be. Krrish 2. That's what it should be.
I suppose it should be Krrish 2 because Krrish was not a character in Koi Mil Gaya. So it should be Krrish 2. So why is it Krrish 3?
And even to your point, like, because Jadoo is not in this movie, it, in a lot of ways, it doesn't feel like it has anything to do with Koi Mil Gaya. Other than, like, the small little things that are like, oh, he's still alive, and oh, Pretty Zinta died off screen, and oh, Rake is here. But, like, that's it. It's, like, it's not interested with any of the alien stuff. And you had mentioned this at the top, but I kind of forgot in a lot of ways that it's all about the alien, like the alien powers. It's all powered by the alien.
These movies should have been called Grandma 1, 2, and 3 or Reiko 1, 2, and 3.
boy.
Assuming she's in the third one, I don't know.
I mean, it was a thankless role in the last movie, but in this movie, it's even more thankless. Like,
I'm just going to sit here, look worried, and cry.
Right. And make you feel bad.
Yeah.
Constantly. Like, it's...
Yeah. And use Tide.
It's so weird to me because, again, like, Rika is an actress with a fairly long filmography, and she's the backbone of the movie. She's almost the only one who's given anything interesting, emotional to do. But it's not anything different from the last movie.
Right.
She's like, how am I here again? Like, it's just like, how am I having to do this again? Like,
I was fascinated by the use of product placement, though. The Tide, the Lay's potato chips, and Honda. It's like Krrish, brought to you by Honda and Lay's potato chips.
I like the ones that stuck out to me were the Lay's potato chips. Just, these, what's his brand? Lay's are very good.
They're always holding it like right up to the camera. And that Tide is like her decorating scheme in that cabin they have up in the hills.
It's I don't think we've seen an Indian cinema movie up until this point that has had such obvious product placement.
I don't think so. I don't remember it. I mean, this was pretty blaring.
Yeah, I mean those Lay's potato chips are just Would you like one?
It made me want potato chips and made me want to do laundry.
And drive a Honda.
Well, I'm already driving a Honda, so haha.
So, Krrish, the character notwithstanding, we did kind of talk about him a little bit, but I do want to dig a little bit deeper. Naseeruddin Shah as the villain, like, he's almost the best part of the movie, right? Like, for me, he turns in an actual, like, he knows what movie he's in. And I'm not sure maybe the movie even realizes what movie he's supposed to be in, but he knows what he's being asked to.
Well, he's telling, I mean, in a weird way, I almost feel like he's telling the movie what to be. He's like, okay, I'm here now. And so now it is my movie. And I am basically a James Bond villain.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I'm on an island.
Right. Like, that's why I was saying, like, in my mind, the parts of this movie that work are the things that have to do with him being a superhero. In a lot of ways, the trappings of Indian cinema, for once, I would say, actually get in the way of this being a superhero movie.
How so?
The parts that are superhero, quote, traditional superhero, are sidelined for a traditional romance story. And, like, I'm not sure that the movie needed more of the romance stuff, but it needed more of the superhero stuff. For sure.
Well, I guess it is the first superhero movie we've seen. And
it's very much in a lot of ways the first Indian superhero movie. There were other things like Shaktiman and stuff, but this is kind of the beginning for what the Indian superhero cinema would be and is now.
Right, where the character literally has otherworldly powers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even though it cropped up a little in Mil Gaya, it was more about just, he sort of had extraterrestrial enhanced powers.
And he was given to him. There was the whole question of, remember the whole question in the first movie was, will he have the powers when the alien is gone? Now It would seem, well, as long as you're a child of Rohit, like, you're going to have magical powers. So
yeah, like the DNA carried on the Jadoo.
I guess, like, sure. I guess, like, it is, it's a child of three fathers or three parents.
And then the sort of, the second act was, okay, go to Singapore, hide my powers. Okay. Then get into a situation where I can't hide my powers. So I have to disguise myself. Birth of Krishna, or rather birth of Krrish.
With the greatest video camera placed ever, apparently.
Yeah, that was lucky.
Really lucky. So lucky, in fact, that they not only caught him putting the mask on, but him looking at the camera while he was doing it.
And pointing. Okay.
It's me. I'm Krrish.
Yeah, and then but a really cool mask, and then he goes in. What I love about the circus fire sequence is that he goes in and saves that trapeze artist, gets her out of there. And then the minute he gets out, this other dude is like, oh, actually, my daughter's in there too. Would you mind going back? And he's like, okay, anyone else? How many people have people in there? Okay, because I'm not going in there 3 more times.
People raising their hands.
Okay, what's her name? He's writing him
like
down.
That scene in Forrest Gump where he goes and grabs all of his platoon members and drags them out.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'll go. I'm only going back in there 1 more time. So Is there anything else? I think I lost my keys. Can you check? I was in the back, sort of on the thing. There's a fob. If you could just. So he goes in there and then he saves the little girl, hands her off. But now he's Batman. I mean, he's Batman. That is the visual language, right?
More or less. I mean, again, it's very much a melange of a lot of things we've seen before. Old school Batman, old school Superman. Again, there's not blood. There's no gore. There are people with guns. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, there are people with guns, but he never gets shot until like the very, very end. But yeah, I'm not saying that the stakes feel low, but the stakes don't feel very elevated.
Right. Again, because ultimately the stakes are romantic. The stakes are, I want to be with this woman. And the only reason his obsession with that relationship is derailed even for a moment, not even derailed, but just sort of like, subsumed in something else, is when he finds out his dad's alive. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm still in love with Priyanka, but I'm going to go save my dad. And then as soon as I'm done, somehow everything will be okay in my relationship with Priyanka. We have reconciled. I understand that she always loved me and everything will be great. And then it was.
Yeah.
And his dad came home. They cleaned him up. They gave him a good meal. He stopped having so much chapped lips and, kind of bloodshot eyes. And,
oh my God. Whatever that makeup they were doing on him made him look awful.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was like really disturbing.
Yeah.
He's in that chair with his feet pointed in and he's all hunched over and he just looks insane. It was a lot. It was.
Yeah. Again, like that's the thing that we've kind of mentioned a couple times, but it bears repeating. How just like fucking weirdly depressing this movie, because the things that it just kind of is like, oh yeah, at one point Rohit turns the computer on and he's like, I can see the future, and he's like, let me look into the future and see what's going to happen tomorrow when my child is born, and he's like, oh my God, it's like you see the image is shot perfectly. You see his wife in bed. It's like, oh, your baby boy is here, and then all of a sudden phone rings. Oh my God, Rohit's dead. And he's like, what the fuck? And I'm not dead yet. Like, what the fuck, movie? Yeah. And then make matters worse, his wife dies and he's captured for 20 years. Like, it's the amount of time and the amount of like, it's just like, the movie just kind of like, whatever, she's dead. Like this character, it's weird that the amount of like the nonchalance that the movie has towards some of the more awful things that it throws at our characters is kind of astounding. I appreciate it. It doesn't pull any punches, but it's a little odd.
And the looking into the future thing, I don't know. I mean, at my age, I would be like, I have no interest. I don't even want to look at what's happening right now. I don't even want to go on Twitter, much less look at tomorrow's Twitter.
I need to know the future. Welcome to the future.
Welcome to the future.
Does he ever make it even clear as to what he's going to use the technology for? Or he's just, I have this technology.
He's going to be God. Breaking news.
Right. Like, I mean, like, great. But what else? Like, isn't that everybody's like thing with that massively like overreaching technology? I want to be God.
When you can know everything about the future, what he's going to do is bet on sporting events.
Right. When in doubt, use this future tech for the stupidest of fucking reasons.
Yeah. Well, and then they don't even, God bless them, I'm glad they don't, but they don't get into the whole future question of, well, if we see the future, and the future is 10,000 people are killed in a hurricane, and yet the stated purpose is, if we know that hurricane is coming, we can save those people, then the death of those people is therefore not going to be in the future, therefore you wouldn't see that. You would only see the stuff that is absolutely going to happen no matter what you do about it. So, which is exactly what this movie does. So whatever he thought he was inventing, he was wrong. He was seeing a future he had absolutely no way to influence at all, except suffer through like Oedipus.
Right.
So, wow, can you imagine? So all that time he spent and all he gets to see is his own death twice, and then he gets to experience it.
I kind of like it, though. I mean, look, Naseeruddin Shah's character is such an ass. It's like, fine, right. You get what you deserve,
yes,
ultimately. Yeah, I'm not going to say I was disappointed by this movie, but I think I maybe it's on me and I expected something else. But sitting here and talking with you about it, I don't feel like my expectations are the issue. I feel like the movie just kind of fell short of, well, maybe it is an I don't know. Like, what do you, well, I mean, I get, what, I don't know. Were you disappointed by this movie comparatively to the last movie?
I'm a little bit, a little underwhelmed, let's say, which is part of what makes me so interested in seeing the third one, because I'm interested in, again, the way they turn things, having watched Doom 1, 2, and 3 and seeing how that entire franchise changes in terms of tone and even star power. I'm now interested to see, okay, so is the third one yet another completely different genre in a way, or is it more exciting? I mean, it's made quite a few years later, from 2006 to 2013, there's going to be better effects, but more things you can do. So let's see what they do.
Well, and that for me is kind of where I kind of am in the same camp. It's a good, like, to say Mil Gaya was a good starting place is kind of I would say that this is an interesting continuation or a new starting point. Again,
right.
I don't, like this is such a fucking left turn from Mil Gaya. We really haven't mentioned that, like, what this is so, like, I can't even tell you an American movie that has a sequel like this. That is such a complete pivot. Because I pitched Mil Gaya to you as Forrest Gump meets Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That's more or less kind of what it was. And this movie is a superhero movie, quote unquote. Tell me a movie like Mil Gaya in the United States, Western cinema, that has a sequel like this, or such a hard genre pivot, like such a genre pivot. I can't even think of one.
Yeah, me either. Maybe this is why. Again, they made some choices that I think could have gone a completely different way, but they stuck to their guns in a lot of ways, I feel like. Yeah, and it was, by all accounts, very popular, made money, critical reception was good. There weren't, it's not like, oh boy, did we, drive this thing off a cliff.
Right.
I think it was considered successful. They accomplished what they wanted to accomplish, and then, moved on to a third one.
Right. Yeah, no, everything I saw said that everybody who saw it enjoyed it. It was nominated for Filmfare Awards, all kinds of stuff. So look, I mean, again, it didn't resonate with me the way Mil Gaya did, but
yeah,
it's a superhero. Mid-2000s superhero movies aren't my thing anyways, any more than I kind of feel like they're yours. Like,
no, not at all.
I wonder what this would have been like if we had watched it then. Like, if we had watched this at, like, the same time as, like, that Batman Begins movie, and, like, would it have felt maybe if we had watched it as Westerners then, but I feel like this movie was always going to kind of feel a little trite, even.
Well, I mean, but again, for me, it's not like, oh, I was disappointed in the effects. It was not from beginning to end, it was not as compelling a story.
Right. Which, that's like a base problem. That's hard to fix. You can't make Hrithik Roshan any more charismatic than he already is. There's nothing you can.
Yeah, I mean, he did everything he could do.
Yeah, for real. Like that, if anything. So, hey, on to Krrish 3, I guess. The final one until Krrish 4 comes out at some point in the future, because it got delayed due to COVID. So
all right, I'm here for it.
I mean, hey, at this point, it's been 10 years since the last one, so who knows? Like, that would be the craziest part, is to see a fourth one with 2023 or forward technology. Like, yeah. So until then, Richard, where can people find you hanging up your shingle on the internet?
People can find me on Twitter. I'm still there, and they can also.
And as for me, weirdingwaymedia.com is where you can find this show and so many other shows, including but not limited to Twisted and Uncorked, The Projection Booth, and Dark Destinations. 3 great shows that are as good as this one, and you should go check them out as well. As for this show, BollywoodCinemaClub.com, on all social media, but that shit sucks. So just like, rate, and review the show wherever you get it. Richard, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure. And like you said, on to Krrish 3.
Yeah, on to Krrish 3, a movie that's title should actually be Krrish 2. And until then, catch you on the next episode.